everyone, Brigitte Marquis의 here from Pathways EB5, and I'm with our CEO, Mr. Jeff Campion, who is going to address some important issues and answer some questions about our Four Seasons New Orleans project. So Jeff, similar to One Dalton, there's a lot of current investors and potential investors that are wondering what impact the COVID-19 virus has on the hotel industry and what does that mean for the Four Seasons New Orleans project.
So that's a great question, and I think maybe we even take a step back, because I've heard some rumors about hotel industry, and the truth is, I don't know any industry that isn't suffering, right? ALS have got to be suffering. Schools are not open. You've got hospitals are not operating at full capacity. They're not doing elective surgeries, so they're not functioning. Airplanes aren't flying. I don't know any industry that isn't suffering. So when I hear this, a lot of times it's from a competitor trying to poke a hole in our project, and I would just say that that's a false narrative in terms of just generally. Now, as it relates to our hotel, a couple thoughts. Number one, remember that it's a hotel and we're only relying on construction expenditure jobs. And so the Four Seasons Hotel and Residences only uses jobs that are created by construction expenses. And that's really critical. So we're not relying on any type of operational jobs. And I'd also like to point out that, that the construction hasn't stopped. I know in some parts of the country, construction has had to stop and not continue. And that's a cause for some concern, right, for projects, is where they don't continue. But our project has been deemed an essential function for the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana. So we've continued to work, and the project continues to march on. And so we're very happy about that, that the project continues to be under construction.
Right, and one of the great things about the project is that it also has the capacity to continue construction from a financial standpoint. So we have all the money in place already to complete the construction. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so ultimately, as you know, through construction expenditures, we're going to create about 4,146 jobs. Well, that's what we've created to date. We'll create more than that amount. And that's really important because we need about 1,550 for all the investors. And so that's really important as you begin to look at this as an investor that's currently invested or one that may invest, because you want to make sure that you're going to get your permanent green card. And so that's important. But that's just a projection. The bigger question becomes, do you have the capacity to complete the project, right? And so that's really important. A lot of projects will tell you that they have the capacity to complete a project. They're going to get more funding if they need it. They're going to have other people invest if they don't raise enough EB5 money. We've all heard that. But this is what I was talking about when I've told investors you need to be careful. What I was talking about is what happens if something like the recession from 2008 happened, which we never thought would, but now it's a pandemic. And so you've got a similar effect. And there are projects that won't have the capital to finish. Ours isn't one of those, as you know. Our project's fully capitalized. We have more than enough from the bank and from our equity partners invested already, along with our $25 million in EB5. We have over $186 million of equity invested that isn't counting EB5. And so this means that the project's going to be completed. In fact, recently, as you know, the bank increased the amount of the first mortgage to ensure that there would be no issues for completion of this project. So that's great news.
All right, Jeff. Well, thank you for that information. And my last question to you is that even though this is a very safe and reliable project, there's still a lot of people out there that, of course, are concerned about investing their money in anything right now. So what do you have to say to them, and what are your thoughts on why it's still a good time to invest in EB5 right now?
Yeah, a couple thoughts. So our hotel isn't supposed to be open. It's under construction. And it should finish construction sometime early next year. And at that point, most experts think that the coronavirus will be completely under control, whether there's a vaccine or because of the herd immunity, it'll be under control.
During its outbreak, which you can see now is waning.
We continue to be encouraged that many of the areas hardest hit by the virus appear to have turned the corner. For example, recent deaths are down very, very substantially. You can compare that with their peak not so long ago, and you have numbers of 30%, 25%. In Detroit, as an example, it's down by over 50%. Congratulations. And in New Orleans, where they've done a terrific job, they're down 65%.
And that's great news. So if you invest in our hotel project now, and it's not open now, there's no downside to you. You only have an upside. The other fact I would say about our project is while it's a hotel and residences, we believe at the end, when we're paid back, it's going to be from the hotel. We think the residences will all be sold, and the condo owners will actually own their condominiums, and so we'll just be paid back from the hotel. The great news is the hotel value is $320 million. And that matters because how we're going to be paid back is through most likely refinance. And as that relates is we know that the hotels are refinanced at 80% loan to value. And what's important here is while we have a first mortgage on the whole building, the amount of the mortgage, the value amount that is attributable to the hotel is $60 million. And that's important because when you refinance at $320 million at 80%, you get to 192, so that's $192 million. And if you pay off the first mortgage on the hotel, that's 60. So 192 minus 60 brings you down to $132 million. And so if we raise all 120, 120 is less than 132, we have enough money to pay back the investors and move on. And so it's really important to know that we built in a project just like One Dalton that has at least a 25% cushion. And so the other thing about the project that's really important is the job creation. While we can't guarantee that an individual will receive their permanent residency, we've done all we can to minimize the risk because we've created more than 3 times the amount of jobs almost. And we have the money at risk. And so those are the 2 factors they're going to look at, is the money at risk and have we created the jobs? And the answer is yes, we have. So that's really important when they analyze a project, is that issue along with getting their money paid back, which as you know, we have a large amount of equity in the project and we have a large cushion, about 25%, that will ensure to the best of our abilities that they can receive their money back after they receive their permanent residency.
Great, wonderful. And also the current processing of the I-526 that has been changed by USCIS so that individuals from countries that are not backlogged will be processed ahead of those from countries that are backlogged. So this should also significantly help applicants.
I think so, and I think it's important too, if you are hearing other projects say, oh, we got an approval in 9 months or 12 months right now. What we know is just that. It's no longer first in, first out. And I would suspect that all projects that have investors that aren't from backlogged countries like South Korea and Taiwan are going to begin to get faster approvals. That's just the reality. It's not anything special about any one project. It's just the way that USCIS is now going to process these petitions. Great point.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much, Jeff, again for your time. If anyone has questions, our team is doing one-on-one Zoom video calls. So if you would like more information, please feel free to email us at info@pathwayseb5.com. Thank you so much, Jeff, and we hope to hear from everyone soon.
Thank you too.